What's up, everybody? Doc Dark 1985. There's levels to this. All right, so quick talk tonight. We're just going to talk about quality versus quantity when it comes to video games, right? So this all stemmed from a text message that I actually got last night. I was talking to my boy Castro, and he went on a freaking rampage, pretty much complaining about how he'll pretty much never buy another game from this particular developer. I'm not going to mention the name, but he's not going to buy another game from them. He's fed up about how often it seems like they just spit out games and it's the same formula over and over again. And he even had an example as to how the same developer had one game called this and it had a mechanic in it, and then it had another game called something else, and he actually has both games and they use the same mechanic and the same gimmick in both games, except one game uses a bird, the other game uses a drone, but it's the exact same mechanic. So I haven't played the games that he's talking about, so I can't vouch for it. But I thought that was pretty funny when I read that in a text message because he just went on and on. So it got me thinking. So as gamers, what do we want? What is better? Is it better to get a multitude of games back to back, or is it better to have one good game every once in a while? You would think at face value that the answer to that is easy, right? The answer to that should be the quality game every once in a while. The problem with that concept is even the best games out there, games that get the highest reviews, still don't satisfy everybody. So there's still somebody out there that the game is not their cup of tea. And that's where the multitude of games, comes in handy. I do agree with him though that look, man, it's not I'm not a developer. So the onus is not on me. It's not my job to make quality games. It's your job to make quality games. If you want to spit out a new game every single year, that's cool. But if you're gonna charge me $60 for it, it better be a good game. And that's why, guys, like I'm telling you, it's a benefit to being a budget gamer like I am. I do not I do not buy a game brand new. I can't remember what game did it to me specifically, but I remember just going through a span of just buying games and just feeling disappointed, and then even buying games and not having the time to play them. And that's when I was like, you know what? It's foolish of me to buy games brand new, right? And that's look, man, $60 for a brand new title, and that's if you get the bare bones. Because now these companies are smart; they'll come out with exclusive packs and pre-day packs, and you'll drop like $100 sometimes for a game to get a statue of something that you're gonna put in the closet. And look, man, or get a different art box. I mean, if you're a collector, that's cool. Then go ahead, do what you do. But if not, some of the stuff is just ridiculous. So then the game doesn't live up to the hype, right? So I understand what he's saying. I think though, depending on the game, the title, I do want to pump out fast. I'll give you an example. Mario, right? The Mario franchise. You know that with every single Nintendo console, you're at least getting one Super Mario or title, right? The staple of that title. So we got Nintendo 64. We got Super Mario for Super Nintendo. We got Mario Bros for Super Mario Bros for the freaking for the NES. What we got for the GameCube? We got Super Mario Sunshine. For the Wii, we got Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. For the Wii U, what we get for the Wii U? Super Mario World, right? What else we get? Did we get another one for the Wii U? Super Mario Maker. So I mean, And I feel like with Mario titles, especially like if you have two per generation console, Nintendo does a pretty good job of spacing them out and pumping them out though, almost like right when you want it, like right when you want it, right? So you got to have a good balance, developers, because if you wait too long to release a game, then the consumers, it doesn't matter like that you're still in between that lifespan, you still developed a whole bunch of games that were good. And when you announce that sequel to that game, we're expecting that game to freaking hit. We're expecting that game to be amazing, right? And I know that was a fact for Mass Effect Andromeda. Man, when that game was announced, right, because of what Mass Effect had already done before, the expectation was extremely high. And the amount of time that we waited between Mass Effect 3 and Mass Effect Andromeda, now you're telling us you're going to give us another Mass Effect on this type of hardware. I bet, bring it. The graphics are not enough because we already used to the graphics. We're already used to these graphics, so the graphics are not enough. You can't ride the graphics coattails, right? And then Andromeda came out, and you know what happened with that, right? Now, a good example of this would be something like Red Dead Redemption. Long time for a second one to come out. The second one came out, was received with standing ovation, right? The graphics were great in that game, but it's not like it was anything crazy that we hadn't seen before, right? But the gameplay was good, the storyline was good, so standing ovation, right? But again, that's a gamble that you take. Now, you could do what this developer has done that has turned off Castro, which is keep pumping up titles after title after title after title after title, and eventually you'll lose a fan base that'll be like, you know what, I'm not gonna keep buying these titles. I'll just wait for the reviews and see what happens, right? So what do we want? Quality over quantity. I want the best of both worlds. And as a consumer, it's my right to choose that. As a consumer, it's your right to choose that, to want that. So here's the deal. Don't overextend yourself, developers. If you can't deliver a good quality product, don't do it. And we see it happen before. We'll see them saying that this is the date for this is a release date. Then they got to push it back, right? And that's another thing. Once you put that release date and you push back that game, when that game comes out, it's got to be fire. It's got to be great. If not, we're gonna hold you accountable. Look, man, $60, I'm holding you accountable for it. That's what it comes down to. $60, we have a right to hold you accountable for it. DLCs in your games, we have a right to hold you accountable for it. Microtransactions in your game, we have a right to hold you accountable if the game is garbage. That's it. So be careful, developers, if you overextend yourself. It's not about flooding the markets with just your developer title and this game behind 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 it, because it's almost a percentage game. It really is. It really, you know, what's the best way to put it? It is a percentage game. That's exactly what it is. Bang, just dawned on me. And again, you can say whatever you want about Nintendo, but you know that if a Nintendo comes out with a game, right, and it's developed by Nintendo, game is a hit. The game is great because Nintendo does not play. They are not going to put anything that's garbage behind their name. And if they do, right, because obviously no one's perfect, right? If they do, it is so far few in between that you can't even. I mean, I can't name a bad Nintendo title. Well, you know what? I lie. I got one. It's not even bad. It doesn't hold up to the title to the status of what this game and this franchise is. You remember that Metroid game for the Wii? I believe it's for the Wii, called Metroid. What was it? Other M. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Metroid Other M, and it was like a mix between a first-person shooter and a 3D scroller and a 3D world game. You remember that game? Okay, that game got alright reviews, right? A few of the Star Fox games as well get alright reviews, right? But for the most part, Nintendo drops a game. It's not uncommon for Nintendo to drop a game and for you to see the reviews and it be 10 out of 10. And those are games that aren't even like my cup of tea for instance. You know what I'm saying? But I can't deny when you play a Nintendo game, the controls feel good. I mean, you know what Mario is, so you ain't really worry about the storyline. He's Peach got caught up again. Peach constantly getting caught up. Constantly getting caught up. Peach don't know what she doing. What's she doing out here? Always getting caught up. Right? Mario going to save her again, right? So I mean, there's an example. Take that example, developers, and that's Nintendo, which is also a console company. So if they can concentrate on doing consoles and doing and making sure that their main franchises succeed and have good backing, that should be with every other major franchise, right? Applause to Sony and what they did with God of War. Because let me tell you, right, God of War 1 was a classic, right? When it came out. 2, 3 was a classic. Now I'm gonna tell you my opinion, playing them. I feel like they were a little bit too long and a little bit too button smashing, right? Like at one point, you just get tired of ripping skeletons apart. You're just like, okay, really? But I mean, they were all the story was engaging, the story was good, and then they waited a while and then dropped freaking God of War, the new one for the PS4, and it did amazing. So now that franchise has a standard, right? The God of War franchise, it's got a standard. You got to keep up to that standard. Let me tell you a company that's like slipping and coming back up and slipping. And I don't know why they would do that to this franchise. Assassin's Creed. I played Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, what's the other one? Revelations, and I just beat Assassin's Creed 3. So that's 5 games. 5 Assassin's Creed games. So far, I have been impressed by all of them. All of them to me are really good. However, however, I would be lying if I didn't see the difference as soon as I started playing Assassin's Creed 3. Something felt too much like rinse and repeat. The story wasn't quite as engaging as it could have been. Took the game was a little bit slower to begin with, wasn't so just little things like that. But that's a franchise, right? Assassin's Creed, and I haven't played the rest of the games. I'm actually working my way up. That I've seen people say has fallen off and gone back up. I mean, there's people out there that'll even tell you skip certain Assassin's Creed games, don't even play them, right? So let's talk developers. Give us quality games at a good rate. Again, I'm the customer. I'm the consumer. Customer is always right, right? Isn't there something that says that about business? This is what I want. This is what I want. Now your argument is gonna be money's always right, right? So if we keep buying these crappy games that are coming out, then I mean we're proving your point that we're willing to just spend this money, regardless of if we feel you took enough time to develop them. But what I don't want as well, and I don't know how I'm gonna have to ask Cash to see how he feels about this. What I don't want is to wait years for a sequel of one of my favorite games and then that game to be garbage. And it has actually happened to my favorite game. My favorite game of all times is Perfect Dark for the Nintendo 64. That is my favorite game of all times. I think that's to me, I think that's the best game ever made. Yeah, I'm being extremely biased. I know it. Obviously, there's better games now because of technology and everything. But to me, that game, it was in a time of my life where I was younger, very impressionable. I, you know, going through the stress of life, being younger, and all this other stuff. That game, man, brought me so much joy, so so much emotions when I played that game. And then they came out with a sequel for the Xbox 360, and they couldn't even hold a candle. Couldn't even hold a candle to the freaking the N64 version. Now, thank God, the Xbox One has a rare replay, which has Perfect Dark in like HD, so it's pretty cool. But again, give us that quantity. See, that just Perfect Dark just brought up something different though, because we gotta talk about this. Now I gotta apologize to the developers because sometimes it's not the developer's fault. Sometimes it's the gaming company's fault, meaning like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo when you guys allow different studios to work on these franchise names. Rare did not, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rare did not work on that second Perfect Dark. I think it's called Perfect Dark Zero or something. I mean, look, Rare has been proven as an outstanding developer. So for you to take that away from them and have another company try to follow behind them, that's tough. That's tough. Those are some big shoes to fill. And I know it's common practice in the industry. It's happened before, but when something like that happens, I fought the actual game company, meaning like Microsoft, Sony, and freaking Nintendo. But yeah, guys, quantity, quality over quantity, for sure. But I want good quality in a good amount of time, if that makes sense. I don't want to wait forever. Because again, you put yourself in a box if you won't make me wait too long. What I say, guys, let me know what you guys think. What do you prefer? Do you want your title to keep getting pumped out? Something like Madden and 2K, which every single year they got a new version, and all they changed was how long James Harden's beard is, because it grew from last year. But it's the same exact game. Or is that what you want? You dropping $60 for something like that? I mean, if you do, it's cool. Get the new roster, whatever. Sometimes they change the mechanics a little bit. Cool. Or do you prefer to wait a little bit to get a better quality game, actual difference in the game, and then go from there? All right, guys, we out. Peace.